have a new review for you today, and that is for Pet Sematary Bloodlines, the prequel film to the 1989 classic Pet Sematary. But is this film any good, or should we have just let sleeping dogs lie? Let's find out in my review. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Yes, and welcome to my review for Pet Sematary Bloodlines, this 2023 prequel movie to the Stephen King classic Pet Sematary. This film is rated 15 with a short run time of 87 minutes, 1 hour and 27 minutes. The film comes as directed and written by Lindsay Anderson Beer and also co-written by Jeff Bueller, and like I said, based upon the novel of Pet Sematary, or the story of Pet Sematary, I should say. And this film here, it opens, it's set in 1969, and it follows the character of Judson Crandall. Now, Judson Crandall was a character in the original film, but obviously he is 20 years younger, and it's his story about how he comes to find out about Pet Sematary, about the town of Ludlow, about the secrets that it hides, the evil that it hides. The story itself essentially is set up between these three friends. You have Judson, and he has these friends Manny and Timmy. Now, Timmy has just come back from war. He's come back, well, he hasn't come back in a sense, or has he? We'll find out. The story opens, the film opens with David Duchovny of X-Files fame. Yes, he is here. He's a main star of this film. He is in Pet Sematary, and he is frantically digging a hole. He's frantically digging to put something in there, because as we know, in Pet Sematary, if you bury something, it comes back to life. So I'm there thinking, he's got to be burying his career. Only I was completely wrong. It wasn't his career. It was his son who had died because of the horrors of war, the horrors of Vietnam. Only he's got a little thing against Judson, because Judson never went to Vietnam. Judson never went to fight. He's off to join the Peace Corps. He got out of fighting because of this little backstory where potentially his family has paid off the doctor to say, no, you can't go to war because you've got flat feet or something like that, some nonsense. So anyway, so these three friends, it was only Timmy that joined the war effort. Manny, we don't know. He's a Native American individual whose family has obviously a past with the Pet Sematary because it was their land originally and all this sort of thing. So this Timmy is back. He's back to life. David Duchovny has buried him, brought him back, and lo and behold, stuff starts happening. He's dead, isn't he? Because the Pet Sematary, it's a doorway to evil. You don't come back as yourself. You come back as like a demonic possessed spirit. So obviously, weird things start happening, animal mutilations, slowly people getting killed, dogs attacking people, because there's a dog in it as well, because there's got to be an animal in it. And that's basically the story, and it's about Judson. Like I said, he's about to leave for the Peace Corps with his girlfriend, only they get attacked by the dog that's owned by the Crandalls. That is, sorry, not the Crandalls, the Batemans. This is Timmy and Bill, David Duchovny and Jack Mullen's characters. David Duchovny is the father who brought back the boy from the dead. And his dog's involved in it as well. His dog got dragged into the grave at the beginning anyway. So the story goes on like that. And they've got to stop this evil. There's also a bit of a backstory in that, obviously, we have Dan Crandall, played by Henry Thomas, fresh off his stint in E.T. all that time ago. Yeah, he plays the father here, but he's also one of the founding fathers of this town. Well, his family is, not him personally, but they have stayed there. There's been a group of people that have stayed in this town to keep an eye over the evil, to ensure that things don't get out of hand, things don't go awry, and as the story progresses, Judson comes to a realisation, actually, this is the story that he has to take on. This is what he has to step into, this role, hence why he's in the later film. That's pretty much the film. Kid comes back to life. Horrible things start happening. They have to stop Kid who's spreading this evil. So is this film any good? That's what it comes down. That's all it boils down to. 87 minutes is a trim runtime. It's not very long, so you'd think that it would pass by pretty quick. It didn't. It dragged for me. It dragged like, oh, I don't know, something that drags. I was sat there for just looking at my watch. I mean, the film, the Pet Sematary concept has a decent idea to it. But in this film here, it just becomes a very generic, almost straight-to-video fare feel to it, where nothing original is done with the idea. There's no real interest. Characters are wholly undeveloped. We don't get a sense of these three kids having grown up together and been friends together, because we come into the mix where we're introduced to them and they're all afraid. They're all living their separate lives and their friendship is essentially a thing of the past. So we don't have that connection to the friendship, to the group, this sort of thing. This is a film about events, about things occurring, and even with that, it kind of drops the ball, because you have elements of the film where this evil that overtakes these people, they do things that are out of character for that evil, in that they take people at one point. They take someone and not kill them. They kill everyone else, but not this individual. They just take her because she's important to the story, and they go and tie her up somewhere. Yeah, they tie her up. They don't kill her or infect her or anything like that, because there is this other person that gets killed and comes back from the dead and all this sort of nonsense in it. So it just feels like it's a by the numbers kind of an effort. You've got some decent performances in the film, and then you've got some questionably bad performances in the film as well. It's nice to see David Duchovny, I will give it that. You know, I used to enjoy the X-Files, so I used to enjoy David Duchovny and his performances. So to see him in something gives it a little bit, elevates it a little bit for me, in that I can watch someone that I used to like. There's a connection, a personal connection to the narrative of the film, in the sense that I've got someone in it that I enjoy their performance. Had he not been in it, been someone else, I don't know what I would have thought. The film's decently shot, but nothing over extravagant, nothing that you know, there's nothing special done in the shooting of the film. It is very, I don't want to use the word generic. It looks good, it just feels bland in a sense. Ultimately, this feels like a complete waste of a prequel. It feels like a film that's just literally been made to cash in on the name Pet Sematary. There's an interesting element within the film where we do flash back to the 1600s, I believe it was, something like that, when they are first discovering the town, when settlers first discover it. And in that, there could have been a very interesting story to tell that potentially could have been a film of its own, but here they just want to condense it into like maybe about 3.5 minutes of screen time, and you know, it's probably the best bit of the film. So yeah, not a very good film at all. It's not overly gory, it's not overly scary. The last, say 30-35 minutes of the film just becomes a generic, let's chase down the bad guy through caves, through a house, through some caves, and this sort of thing. And it just feels like many another film that has been made, and the Pet Sematary concept at that point is just there as a setup, as a basis. The rest of it, not so much. Unfortunately, not a very good film at all.